Hi, I'm Jonny Swift, the digital marketing consultant, and today I'm going to talk about conversion rates, how to work out conversion rates, what are conversion rates, and alternative things that you can use conversion rates that could really help out your business. So to get straight into things, what are conversion rates? Conversion rates is the amount of sales divided by the visitors times 100, and then you get your conversion rate. And it's as simple as that. For example, if you have 100 sales for 1,000 visitors to your website, you would have a conversion rate of 10%, and you will always have a percentage when it comes to your conversion rate. But what do you actually use your conversion rate for? Mainly, conversion rates are for digital marketing. You can kind of determine on how successful a page is in comparison to its conversion rate. You might see a conversion rate on a page like it's 10%, and you might also see one that is 5%, and then you can use that 10% as a benchmarker, look at the 5%, and look at ways that you can increase it further. But basically, it's a good indicator to see how successful your page is in terms of actually converting people for where they'll land on that page, or just your general website. But it could differ from business to business. For example, an e-commerce website is a lot more simple when it comes to conversion rate. All you need to do is basically figure out how many people land on that page using different tools, analytical tools, which I'll talk about in a bit, and then eventually go and make a purchase on your website. And that is kind of the benchmark in terms of e-commerce pages of what a conversion rate should be. But lead generation can be a little bit more confusing. For example, you could just measure people actually inquiring on your website and use that as a conversion rate benchmarker. Or you could have a conversion rate of how many people actually eventually go with your product and actually pay the first invoice that shows that it is a sale rather than just an inquiry that could be just generally anything. So now we know what a conversion rate is. Why is it important, and why do a lot of e-commerce people / people who are digital marketing use this as a good benchmarker in terms of performance? Basically, with anything, clicks does count when it comes to digital marketing performance. For example, you want as many clicks as possible, but conversion rate is the thing that is really driving the money when people land on the page. You could have quite a small business, a niche business that might not have a lot of clicks in comparison to something that is more mainstream like clothing, but obviously you want conversion rates as high as possible because you want more value for the traffic you are currently getting on your website. So having the highest conversion rate as possible is a great indicator to basically bring more money into your business without having to just get clicks through and other means to make more money. If you already have a big website that is getting thousands of clicks, even if you see a 50% increase in your conversion rate, this could be the difference between literally thousands of pounds rather than just getting more clicks on using blog content, etc. It's a great way to basically increase your revenue on your website and for your business. And landing pages for lead generation as well is a similar thing. The higher conversion rate you have in lead generation, the more money you're probably going to get through for your business. There are some ways that you can track conversion rate without having to just get the notepad and pen out and do the calculation. You don't need to do that. There are different analytical packages that I'm going to show you right now that you can use to basically measure conversion rates on your website. This is a little example of a client that I use right now. Sorry for the big black thing over the screen. It's just to block out some core information that I want to keep private. But for example, you can see a landing page here within Google Analytics. This is from Google Analytics, and you can see the session key event rate, which is actually the conversion rate for this website. So for example, you can see an overall conversion rate of 2.71%, and you can see it per page as well because we are on the landing page section in the engagement. So yeah, you can kind of see the information here. There are also things like the revenue, sessions, etc. But kind of this gives you the best benchmark of what a conversion rate is. And Google Analytics as well is free to set up. If you do need help setting up Google Analytics, please get in touch with me. I can see what I can do. But yeah, this is kind of a good benchmarker of your overall conversion rate, so you don't have to keep calculating per page overall sessions example. So yeah, I recommend to get Google Analytics to do this for you. And alternatively as well, if you use things like Shopify, this is just a screenshot that somebody has taken for the conversion rate on their Shopify website. But you can see it on your home screen where it says conversion rate, or even if you don't even use Shopify analytical packages, you can see things on Squarespace that normally tells you your conversion rate on your website, which makes it a lot more clear. So you don't have to just do the calculation yourself. You can get all the information from the original source. And that is all for conversion rates, but I'm just going to talk about alternative conversion things you can also measure that kind of really helps out your business. This is slightly different to conversion rates, but it's something that I do recommend that you basically test and trial and basically jot down to make sure that you are making these improvements, because it can really help your website, not just on that page, but using also alternative methods. Okay, now you're looking at an e-commerce funnel conversion. This is not just conversion rates, but you can kind of see how things drop off the further you go. For example, this is a good example. You have the total sessions, then you have people going from the main section to the product page view, and then how many people go then to add to cart, and then finally people who actually go to checkout and make the conversion. This can kind of tell you some indications about where people are being put off by the journey. For example, if you see a big drop off when people add to cart in comparison to making conversion, it could be an issue with your add to cart page, and it kind of gives you overall understanding that this could be the issue of the page rather than just the product page that you are giving people that people are accessing. So having this on your website is super useful. You can set this up using Google Tag Manager and then adding it to your website and then tracking it through Google Analytics and things like that, so it automatically does it. Again, if you need help, please just get in contact. This is super useful to do. And then finally as well, we're going to talk about average order value. You can do this per page, but it's a good indication that you try to figure out what your average value is, your order value is. For example, if you see something, let's say pet care, I think this is in it's Great British Pounds. For example, you might see £80 per conversion on average. If you start measuring this, you could find out different ways to basically upsell or cross-sell different products on your website to basically try to generate more money per conversion that you are getting through. Always to improve conversions and revenue onto your website as much as possible. And that's it for the video. I hope you found it very useful. If you have any queries or comments, please get in touch with either my contact form on my website or just in the comments. And thank you very much for watching.